The Clurachan is a mischievous fairy in Irish folklore, known for his great love of drinking and a tendency to haunt breweries, pubs and wine cellars. He is related to the leprechaun and has sometimes been conflated with him as a shoemaker and a guardian of hidden treasure. This has led some folklorists to suppose that the Clurachan is merely a leprechaun on a drinking spree, while others regard them as a regional variation of the same being. Like the leprechaun, the Clurachan is a solitary fairy, encountered alone rather than in groups, as distinct from the trooping fairies. In the folktale The Haunted Cellar, recorded by Thomas Crofton Croker in 1825, a Clurachan named Naganine haunts the wine cellar of an Irish lord, drinking everything in sight and playing frightening pranks on the servants. He is described as a little man measuring 6 inches in height, with a face like a withered apple. He has twinkling eyes and a nose that is red and purple from heavy drinking. He wears a nightcap, red, and a short leather apron, light blue stockings, and shoes with large silver buckles. When he is discovered by the master of the house, Naganine talks him out of moving elsewhere by implying that he would simply move with him. Other descriptions have him wearing red like other solitary fairies. In another tale, Master and Man, a young man named Billy McDaniel is on his way home one winter night when he is offered a glass of liquor by a Clurachan to warm himself. He takes the drink, but when he refuses to pay for it, he is compelled by the Clurachan to serve him for 7 years and a day. Billy, however, is eventually able to break his servitude by invoking the blessing of God. In this story, the Clurachan is able to pass through keyholes to invade homes and wine cellars and can transform bog rushes into horses to be used as mounts. Clurachans can also fly through the air on rushes, similar to witches and their broomsticks. Thomas Keightley, in his fairy mythology in 1828, presents the story of a Clurachan named Little Wildbean, who was more helpful than others of his kind, but also quick to anger and violence when slighted. He haunted the wine cellar of a Quaker gentleman named Harris, and if one of the servants was negligent enough to leave the beer barrel running, then Little Wildbean would wedge himself inside to stop the flow until someone came to turn it off. His dinner was left for him in the cellar, but one night the cook left him nothing but part of a herring and some cold potatoes. At midnight, Wildbean dragged the cook out of her bed and all the way down the hard cellar stairs, leaving her battered and bruised so that she was bedridden for 3 weeks. In a common folktale motive, Mr. Harris tried to rid himself of Wildbean by moving elsewhere, but decided to turn back when he discovered the Clurachan had moved with him. The folklorist Nicholas O'Carney described the Clurachan in 1855 as follows. The Clurachan was another being of the same class. He was a jolly, red-faced, drunken little fellow, and was ever found in the cellars of the debauchee Bacchus-like, astride of the wine butt, with a brimful tankard in hand, drinking and singing away merrily. Any wine cellar known to be haunted by this sprite was doomed to bring its owner to speedy ruin. Catherine Briggs stated that he was a kind of buttery spirit, feasting himself in the cellars of drunkards, or scaring dishonest servants who steal the wine. He is also described as a trickster and a practical joker, and a disturber of order and quietness in a household, making noise day and night. Despite his often troublesome nature, the Clurachan takes special care of the family to whom he has attached himself, endeavouring to protect their properties and lives, provided he is not interfered with. This dual nature makes him similar to the domestic hobgoblin. Besides his love of drinking, the Clurachan also enjoys pipe smoking, and the small disposable clay pipes known as fairy pipes that are often found while digging or ploughing are said to belong to him. He also knows the secret of making beer from heather. Though generally regarded as separate beings, certain characteristics of the leprechaun have sometimes been merged with those of the Clurachan, particularly as a shoemaker and treasure guardian. The Clurachan is sometimes portrayed carrying a jug of ale or wearing a leather apron with hammer in hand, whistling as he works. He also carries a magical purse, or sometimes a pewter beggar's cup, with varying properties. It may contain a shilling known as the lucky shilling that always returns to the purse no matter how often it's spent. Or it may always be full of money, and for this reason mortals will often try to capture the Clurachan. Even if he's caught, he has the power to vanish if he can make his captor look away for even an instant. He frequently carries 2 such purses, one containing the magic shilling and the other containing a normal copper coin, and if captured he will present the latter before vanishing. Like the leprechaun, he is sometimes said to have knowledge of hidden treasure and can be forced to reveal its location. In such instances, one of his tricks is to create the illusion of multiple treasure markers so that the seeker will not know its exact whereabouts. The Clurachan also shares many attributes with the Bairsel, a type of kobold stemming from Germanic mythology and surviving into modern times in German folklore.
If you like that, then check out our Patreon, where for just $5 a month you get access to exclusive shows like Real Monsters and Playing with Bones with Amy Rose, along with early access to all our minisodes and ad-free access to the Weekend Update and It's Alive! Not convinced yet? Well, head on over now and have 7 days on us. That's a 7-day free trial for all new members. That's It's Alive Pod on Patreon. It's Alive! All the guts and go with none of the guilt. See you on Wednesdays, unless you're on Patreon when you get us all week long.